KBLA Talk 1580. I love that song. I forgot. I forgot I had to talk. I was too busy listening to Leon Thomas. So, yeah, I would love to hear from you. What do you think about the Grammys? If you watched it, if you didn't watch it, but you have an opinion based on what you saw or what you wished you saw, I'd love to hear from you on that as well. You know, I don't traditionally force myself to watch all of the award shows. Sometimes I go back and clip it up. Sometimes I always read about them. Obviously, that's my job. But yeah, there were some great moments. There was some great news out of the Grammy Awards on Sunday. I was very surprised. I was reaching out to a number of experts that I know to speak on the Grammys. And I was surprised that at least 4 of them told me they don't watch it. They have various reasons. Most of them have to do with what is left out, the way that music is presented, what at least one cited as a persistent disrespect of the Black contribution to music. And so that was, I guess it wasn't really surprising, but it was kind of, because it was so consistent. And I'm talking about people that know a lot about music, people that write books and, make music. So that was a bit of an eye-opener. For me, I guess the best part for me in a way was just how widespread the political statements were. I think it goes in and out in Hollywood with the wealthy and the famous. Sometimes it's trendy to speak and say Black Lives Matter or F ICE, and sometimes they all get on this, well, I don't want to be political, blah, blah, blah. Miles, of course, I've asked him to weigh in because Miles is an artist and also has lots of opinions about the music business based on, not just your experience as an artist, your Miles Low music, rapper, but also as a radio person, because you've had your own radio show, you've played music, and you're pretty, I'd say, very well versed, not just in modern music, but the classics.
Right. So first of all, I didn't watch the Grammys either.
Yet another expert.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think it's one of the things you can get the gist of without having to digest it in person. So I didn't watch it either. But yeah, I saw the highlights and the headlines as well. I expected nothing less than it to be a political statement for everybody involved, in my opinion.
Really?
Yeah, it's the time we're in. So
yeah, but you know what? Also, with the Golden Globes, we didn't see a lot. I think people are scared. Their publicists and agents are telling them to keep their heads down.
I think it's 2 different art forms, though, for sure.
Yeah.
Way totally different art forms.
Music versus actors.
Versus Hollywood, versus literal Hollywood.
I mean, they're all celebrities as far as I'm concerned, but you're right. I mean, there is a long tradition of protest music. There's also a long tradition of protest acting and writing and directing. I mean, the McCarthy era where they put people in jail for being supposedly communists. A lot of those people were actors and writers.
Right. I think also, too, the fact that the music industry is not what it used to be. Neither is Hollywood, of course, but the music industry is not what it used to be. So you kind of make it a little bit of benefit from getting those types of attention spikes. You know what I'm saying? It may lead to being a little more financial for you in the short term and the long term. So
I know what's going to be really missed next year at the Grammys. Trevor Noah.
Yeah.
He's so good. I mean, he's just a really good host. And to me, all of these award shows mostly have terrible hosts or hosts that are great at what they do, but they're not good at emceeing those shows.
So who's going to be doing next year? They say who?
I don't know who they have. I saw that Ricky Gervais was criticizing folks for their political statements because he thinks it should be all about the music. But to me, that's funny. Irrelevant former host, trying to check Bad Bunny, right? Like probably one of the best-selling artists in the world right now, right?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. I saw a weird poll saying that 50% of NFL players are not happy that Bad Bunny is performing at halftime. But to me, that just shows you that 50% of NFL players are MAGA, because they're saying we should get an American. Puerto Rico is part of the United States. He's one of the best-selling artists in the world. They weren't complaining about Shakira. She's not from the U.S.
Was the poll to be happy or to be unhappy? I mean,
they said, well, it's 50%.
I'm not MAGA, but I really could care less about Bad Bunny at halftime.
But are you mad that he's playing at halftime?
Did they say mad or they say not happy?
They said unhappy.
No, I wouldn't say unhappy, but I wouldn't say I care. I would say it's
well, not caring is different. Like,
that's smoke break time. That's bathroom break time.
I mean, I don't care when they have country artists on unless it's, Beyonce.
All right, but I'm not unhappy. I'm not mad about it though.
But
they were mad about Kendrick,
I don't care when they have a country halftime show, but I'm not unhappy. It's like, okay, have your thing. Yeah, right, exactly. I'm gonna go make me a sandwich.
Right, exactly.
BRB.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't care. I'm not like mad. To me, that's on a Talking Point Tuesday. That is a talking point. We hate Bad Bunny, and we are mad about it. And he's not an American, even though Puerto Rico is part of the United States.
We hate Bad Bunny. That's like saying you hate Big Bird. Like, how do you hate Big Bird? It's a character. What do you say you hate Bad Bunny?
Well, they do. I mean, and he won, Best Album.
Yeah, he did.
Which is history. I mean, no Latin artist has ever won Best Album, so that's a big deal.
Yeah, and he gets to put that on his mantle, and it's official, and it's in history, and it's going. Yeah, come on now.
It's
That's
going
a win.
down.
A win is a win, man.
I told you I'm in my Bad Bunny era just because MAGA is mad about it. Like,
okay.
And it turns out it's pretty fun. Like, it's good workout music. Yeah.
I'm not mad. Look, get your wins, Bad. Everybody who's winning in the Grammys, get your wins. I'm not mad at him. I'm not mad at the Kendricks. I'm not mad at Billy. Get your wins, y'all. However you got to get the wins, get the wins.
Okay, so explain the Kendrick situation, because he won a whole bunch of Grammys last year.
5 of them last year.
And he won a whole bunch of Grammys this year.
5.
So he now has tied Jay-Z.
I think he passed Jay-Z. I think he's one up on
Did
Jay.
he pass? He might have passed him. Yeah, you might be right about that. He either tied him or passed him. My computer's frozen, so I can't check it.
I think he's the GOAT now. I think that's that means.
So explain why he can win for the same album 2 years in a row.
He won for all last year was strictly for Not Like Us. That was all single record, all single Grammys.
But that single is part of that album. So how does that work?
The single was released before the voting period closed. And GNX was released after the period closed. So, but also Not Like Us wasn't on the album officially. So it was just a single. It was a diss track.
Okay, so, but even if it was, since the album wasn't out in time to qualify for the Grammys, it would be in the next year?
Right. It's like if you put an album out, if you put a single out, like how like Cardi B put out the WAP song. And 2 years later, it counts for the sales of the album that is finally out on. You know what I mean?
Right,
so it's two different.
So it's not really shady. It's just the way the rules are.
It's just timing, how the rules go. Yeah.
So, and I just wonder, because I doubt, let's say, he would have gotten 10. You know what I mean? If it was all in 1 year.
Yeah, I don't think GNX would have won 10 Grammys this year, no.
Right. Even if it was GNX and Not Like Us.
Right. No, because it would have been competing with itself, too, on the singles category. So you would have had Luther competing with Not Like Us. And, you know what I mean? It'd have been a Kendrick-filled Grammys again, for sure. But, yeah, it'd have been him competing with himself 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
That's crazy, man. Shout out Kendrick. He might be the GOAT now, y'all. He might be.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, congratulations to him. Contrary to what some folks say, I think it's an amazing album, and apparently the Academy agrees.
Mm-hmm. Stamp, hey, a win's a win.
Oh, a win is a win, and a goat is a goat. Was that? I don't know if you saw it. I forgot you did see the whole thing. So when Cher was announcing one of the winners, she announced
Luther Vandross.
Luther Vandross, who's no longer with us.
She don't know better. It's okay. It's Cher.
I mean. Yeah, I guess. I just feel like, in a way, it was a win for Luther because they sampled him.
Say his name.
There's no Luther the song without Luther the artist.
Right. Yes, a win is a win. Shout out Luther. Shout out everybody who gets a win, y'all. There's a lot. Look, there's a lot of artists. There's a lot of writers. There was a lot of engineers that walked out of there with their first Grammys, and producers and instrumentalists. Like it's beyond Kendrick, beyond just the names that we know, it's a huge night for artists everywhere. So,
yeah, I mean, Steven Spielberg becomes an EGOT, meaning you have all the major awards because he won a Grammy finally, which is, you know, all the spoken word categories and weird word categories. Were you, a lot of people were upset that they added another country music category so that Beyonce doesn't beat the so-called traditional country, or not just Beyonce, you know, whatever, the Shabuzis of the world. So, you know, so the black people don't take over the country music category. All right, is that a good thing or is that a bad thing?
And that is the contemporary country that they call it now?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that goes back to, like I said, we're playing their game. So if you're going to play by their game, you got to play by them rules. I'm not going to complain about it. Get your Grammy, get your win.
I'm laughing because it's like how many names do they have for black now? Urban, contemporary.
Yeah.
You know, So you're not mad about it, but you don't love it.
It's back to like Bad Bunny. I really don't care. Like I get it. I don't like
you and Melania. I really don't care. Do you?
I don't like a lot of the hip hop R&B categories type stuff.
Yeah,
like that
of course,
too. So
melodic hip hop and all that. You don't like that,
right? I mean,
it gives more people Grammys, so in that sense, it's good.
But it's like boxing too. Like there's too many belts going around. I think you know what I mean. I think there's the IBF belt, there's the WBC, there's the super light heavyweight, there's the Ring magazine, and then there's the People's Mag. It's like, you know, how many do you really need for one category?
Well, and the other thing to me, it comes down to not so much the division of rap, although to some degree, it comes down to race records. You know, they used to call them race records.
Right.
Anything by a black person was called a race record. And then, you know, that separates us and sort of ghettoizes our music. I feel like hip hop is what made huge strides in breaking through that. When Run DMC forced our way onto MTV, when they forced our way onto the Grammys, it made those borders or the segregation of music less distinct than it had been. But it's still there. Right,
and I think too, it's like you got to think, remember, who's the ones who are giving us these categories? They're not coming to us and breaking it down by our categories. They're breaking it down by their categories. So, you know, it's to be expected. Exactly to be expected. So I'm not upset about it, but happy about it. I can't say I'm happy about it, but no, I don't care. But shout out to everybody who got a win. Who won that one? Jelly Roll, right? Jelly Roll.
He did really well, and he lost a lot of weight. Did you see him?
Health is wealth.
Health is wealth.
Health
I mean,
is wealth.
He lost hundreds of pounds. I think it was. He lost like 300 pounds or something crazy like that.
Olympics
he
might
lost
be real.
3 Dominiques. Yeah.
$3.
800-920-1580 if you want to weigh in. We're talking about the Grammy Awards, and Miles Lowe is with me. We'll be joined next bottom of the hour by an expert on the racial segregation and components of the Grammys. So looking forward to that as well. It's KBLA Talk 1580.
A safe place to go loud. A great place for progressive politics. KBLA Talk 1580.
Drop it! Hey, KBLA delegation, you know what's better than laughing? Laughing while celebrating the legends who made us laugh in the first place. KBLA Talk 1580 is proud to present our annual Black History Month luncheon. And this year, we're honoring comedy greats, trailblazers who broke barriers, and funny bones at the same time.
You had to grow up early when we was growing up because your parents were sent to the store to buy. You was too young to buy. I want you to go to the store, get me a fifth of gin and a pack of cigarettes. Mama, I'm 2. They ain't gonna let me have that. Here, take this note. You be a little boy walking down the street with liquor and cigarettes. And your neighbors be going, that's a good little boy right there.
We need a little levity right about now. So we're rolling out the red carpet for comedy royalty. D.L. Hughley, Melanie Camacho, Earthquake, Lunel, Dion Cole, Martin Lawrence, and a surprise guest appearance. It's going up Thursday, February 26th in downtown LA at the Grammy Museum. An unforgettable afternoon of stories, celebration, and yes, plenty of laughs, because let's be real, these legends don't just tell jokes. They have changed the game, opened doors, and made history while making us smile.
You gotta go to child support court. You gotta get there real early in the morning. You see brothers going into court. You see him come out 3 hours later. I can't pay this. Let me talk to you, baby. Please, let me talk to the witness, Your Honor. Let me talk to the witness. Brother be working for 3 weeks, get his check is $43.
This year, for the first time ever, we have set aside a limited number of individual tickets for the luncheon. They are going to go fast, and when they're gone, they're gone. So, if you want a single ticket, or if your company or organization wants to sponsor a table, move swiftly and get to KBLA1580.com right now. All these comedy giants in one room on one stage at the same time? Stop it! This event is going to sell out quicker than right now and sooner than at once. KBLA Talk 1580's annual Black History Month luncheon, Thursday, February 26th at the Grammy Museum. It's gonna be legendary, just like them.
What's up? What's up? What's up? You got to laugh the pain away.
My perfect day has sand, salt water, and friends. But my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis can take me out of the moment. Now I'm all in with clearer skin thanks to Skyrizi. Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. With Skyrizi, most people saw 90% clearer skin, and many were even 100% plaque-free at 4 months. Skyrizi is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing on my skin, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist-prescribed biologic in psoriasis. Visit Skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
Thanks for waking up with Dominique DePrima on KBLA Talk 1580.
Talking about the Grammy Awards, and of course I was happy that Leon Thomas won. He did not win Best New Artist. I'm not familiar with that artist, the young woman who won, but of course, I'm going to go check her out now.
Olivia Dean.
Yeah.
Nah.
It was quite a, she was very, she's cute. I like what she said.
Okay.
I'm not familiar with her music, but yeah, congrats to her. I was rooting for, of course, Leon Thomas because I love him. What was your highlight, Miles? Other than Kendrick getting 5.
Man, Kendrick taking all the air right back out of hip hop. Right, J. Cole, you on the clock. J. Cole dropped this week, by the way. So
I can't wait.
But yeah, I mean, for me, I'm always gonna be a champion of hip hop. So moments like that, like when Killer Mike won his Grammy, you know what I mean? That's kind of how I felt. It's like, yeah, we still got a lock on it. I still got a lock on it. It wasn't like it was a bad feel because I was definitely. I'd have been happy if Tyler, the Creator, would have won. If Clips would have won.
His performance was amazing.
Clips or Tyler?
Tyler's who I was talking about because it was very theatrical. Clearly, you don't need a million dancers. You just need a well-planned performance.
Exactly. So, yeah, it was a great night for hip-hop for me, but, just to see Kendrick stick the landing to an entire 2-year worth journey and ta-da, more Grammys. Like, for my final trick, I'm going to walk out of here with 5 more Grammys tonight.
My final trick is hilarious.
So that was definitely the highlight for me.
Before passing the baton to Bad Bunny to go do the Super Bowl, right? It's Super Bowl to Grammys cycle. Yeah.
And now Bad Bunny, here's your, exactly. So, yeah, I loved it.
Leon won Best R&B Album.
Yep.
I love him. I know he's not your favorite, but I love me some Leon Thomas. I can listen to those over and over and over and over and over and over again. And, just like I'm on my Odile right now. Doechii wins Best Music Video.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah.
For Anxiety?
Yeah.
Nice.
So that was nice for her. And
R&B Song of the Year is a good one for me.
Yeah.
Giving it to Kehlani. That was actually a pretty crowded field, in my opinion, looking at it, because that Chris Brown record with Bryson Tiller was huge.
Yeah.
Leon Thomas, of course, had a huge year. Summer Walker having a bounce-back year with her new album. But, yeah, I was happy that Kehlani walked out of there with Folded. That's definitely the album of the R&B Song of the Year for sure.
I'm happy because she's outspoken. She's fearless. Last time she was talking about Palestine. This time she's talking about F-ICE. And I love that for us. But you got to be brave to do that because people will shut you out.
Yeah.
Tyler wins Best African Music Performer.
Shout out to Sinners for walking out there with 2 Grammys as well, best score soundtrack and best compilation for visual. So that's come on now, we're walking out there with hardware.
So Shabuzi said immigrants built this country. Right. A lot of people were angry about that, and I understand that, and I think someone needs to sit him down because immigrants helped build this country. Chinese people helped build the railroads. They were, discriminated against. They were the only group that had an actual law, the Chinese Exclusion Act, to keep them out.
Right.
But enslaved black people built this country. And so, I wish he wouldn't have said it that way, because at this moment we're seeing people like Tariq Nasheed intentionally doing that talking point, which helps the Republican Party and the white nationalists by dividing black immigrants from black, what they call foundational black Americans, which are, the people that actually built this country.
Right.
And so, while we know immigrants are building the country now, and we know immigrants are holding up the country economically in ways that...
Right. Got a role to play.
Yeah, but to skip over enslaved black folks like that, I don't think that was a good look. Yeah, I really don't.
It definitely wasn't. I think it's definitely telling, one. And I think that it was a great opportunity for the culture and the community to give Shabuzi his whooping that he deserves as a cousin, because he definitely deserves his whooped after this one. So
I mean, and it's getting whooped right now.
And it should keep whooping him. And I think that because I just came from over there in Nigeria, and if I would go over there in Nigeria talking about a lot of stuff that I could talk about, that would be disrespectful to the culture.
Right, black Americans are the only black geniuses in the world. Let's say you went over there and said that.
Y'all got your whole fashion sense from black America, when that's not the case. When you have your own traditional culture, even though you're wearing Kobe Bryant jerseys over there. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't
bootleg Kobe Bryant jerseys, but Kobe Bryant
bad wigs too. On top of
stop. But I mean, and I knew you'd be in your feelings because you got into it with, you got into a little verbal scuffle with the DJ over there who was, trying to.
Little stern conversation we had with him.
Stern conversation, is that what you call it?
I think that's what he wanted to rather call it. Then.
I mean, and I think, well, hopefully it's a teachable moment, because the division of black people from migrants is not to the advantage of either party at this moment politically in America or in the world. Right.
Well, I don't think that like I said, I haven't done any research on Shabuzi, any of his how his mind works or his stance on anything. But I wouldn't be surprised if he, wasn't necessarily on the same type of side or type of time we're on. He may just be a for self person. I'm not sure. So I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't put it past him, and it may be on brand for what I know. So
well, it could be. I'm hoping not. He seems like a heartfelt individual, but it's hard to know. But then that means education is needed, because number one, you would not even be able to immigrate to this country if it wasn't for black people challenging and changing the laws. Right. Number two, you wouldn't even have any rights in this country if it wasn't for us. Number three, there would be no White House built, and so many other literal infrastructure if it wasn't for us.
Right.
And that is problematic, because it lends to this mindset that, black people are lazy, and all the stereotypes that black Americans are lazy, that we don't do anything because y'all don't know our history and what we have contributed. Thus, my Madam C.J. Walker shirt.
Right. Pootie Tang. Where Pootie Tang at? Let's do a remake of Pootie Tang. Pootie Tang didn't do much talking. He got out there with the belt and got to whipping. That's it, man. Pootie Tang was justice. Where's Pootie Tang at?
Oh, man. Yeah. Okay, so I loved seeing the clips up there. Yes. It wasn't like the most stunning of all performances, but just seeing them up there doing their thing.
Right.
Yes, to that.
Yeah, Push T had a heck of a weekend, too. So, yeah.
What do you mean by that?
I mean, he was on some paperwork, man. He was on that main stage. You know what I mean? Pharrell it was a lot. Big weekend for Pusha T. So at least they got the Grammy whipped and changed. Shout out to the clips. Shout out to Pharrell. Shout out to K-Dot.
Right. I
All
mean,
good.
as if he needed another Grammy, he gets one for the feature on the Clips.
Exactly.
You gotta love that. Gotta love that. And Tyler, the Creator, just like, making it like a concert when Clips were on stage and just like standing up and dancing. I love that because those award show crowds are stiff and boring.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Well, we will continue this conversation about the Grammy Awards and music, world music, when we come forward after news, traffic, and sports on KBLA Talk 1580.
Thanks for starting your morning off with a voice that speaks truth to power and the powerless, getting to the heart of what matters most in our community. This is where authentic conversation meets real action. From breaking news and politics to culture and community solutions, this is where you hear perspectives you won't hear anywhere else. This is where we come together, get informed, and make change happen. You're inside First Things First with Dominique DePrima on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Tammy Eswick with BIN News Now. We're traveling 30 minutes outside of Chicago to Harvey, Illinois. The black mayor of the city there, Mayor Christopher Clark, passed away unexpectedly this week.
It's a very sad time for Markham, Harvey, and the South Suburban area that Mayor Clark has passed away.
Now leaders are trying to get someone else into the spot. At issue is that neither of the two nominees received the required 4 votes needed during last night's special city council meeting. Well, the former head of New Orleans 911 system, Tyrell Morris, who's a black man, has been freed early from prison after serving 4 months of a 1-year prison sentence for trying to cover up a crash incident. Well, also in New Orleans, the freest party in the world, Mardi Gras, is gearing up, but city leaders say they're looking at additional security measures this year. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Think It Up is an initiative to activate student-powered, teacher-led learning projects. Students and teachers, how can you spark great learning experiences in your classrooms today? Join at thinkitup.org.
Is this the time? This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Clippers came home Monday night from a 3-game road trip and appeared to have some jet lag. They had a tough time with Philadelphia and ended up losing 128-113 at the Intuit Dome in Inglewood. Kawhi Leonard was the only bright spot for the Clippers with 29 points. The Lakers are at Brooklyn tonight, final game of their 8-game road trip. The NFL has some explaining to do. There were 10 openings in this offseason for a head coach. None of the 10 jobs went to an African American. The last 2 teams looking for a head coach, Arizona and Las Vegas, hired a white candidate to fill the position. NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell said the league needs to re-examine the Rooney Rule, which requires teams to interview at least 2 minority candidates. Somebody needs to tell Goodell that the coaching issue in the NFL goes way beyond the Rooney Rule. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
We ask seniors how to prevent Medicare scams.
My best advice, if you get a phone call, do not talk to the person. These people are well trained. Don't talk to them.
They don't know me. They're just trying to scam me.
Don't be fooled. Hang up. Just hang up.
Never give out your Medicare number.
They're going to get your number to put in a false claim.
If I get a call from someone, I don't pick up the phone. And should I pick up the phone and they ask for information, then I hang up.
How do you detect Medicare fraud?
Just like I check my credit card statements, I check my Medicare statements monthly.
Scammers can get a hold of your number, order medical devices through your account, and you're not even going to know about it if you don't look at your statement.
Check your statement every month. If you get your statement and you see something that you know you did not have done, you report it.
Call your Senior Medicare Patrol.
To report Medicare fraud, call the Senior Medicare Patrol at 855-613-7080.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with the world. African Focus Incorporated is a community-based organization whose mission is to bring Africans and African Americans together, lead charitable initiatives on the motherland, and educate people from all walks of life on the beauty, legacy, and opportunity of Africa's 54 nations. And it's that time once again when African Focus is teaming up with KBLA Talk 1580 for our 8th annual African Focus Trailblazers Tour. Travel with us in 2026 when we're headed to the Southern African nations of Zambia and Botswana for a historical, cultural, and vacation tour led by me, Dominique DePrima, Cultural Ambassador for African Focus Incorporated. Enjoy luxurious accommodations, conscious fellow travelers, shopping, adventures, cultural tours, wildlife safaris, and a giant waterfall, one of the world's 7 wonders, along with a chance to be of service at an orphanage on the continent. Become an AFI trailblazer by exploring the motherland with a nonprofit organization that has members in Africa and America to help roll out the red carpet for you, and together we'll make a difference and have fun doing it. For more information, visit africanfocus.org or call 310-676-7300. That's 310-676-7300 or africanfocus.org. Whether it's stateside or exploring the diaspora, we're with you every step of the way. African Focus and KBLA Talk 1580. Come go with us.
This is KBLA Talk 1580, where everybody is somebody and nobody is a stranger. You belong here.
And we are talking about the Grammy Awards this hour now. Welcoming in another voice, Miles Lowe, who, of course, is a production coordinator here. He's also a rap artist and an air personality in his own right. Now we're being joined by an assistant professor, he is at Lehigh University, but he has a specialty in structural and institutional inequity in the creative industries with an emphasis on anti-Black racisms in the global popular music industry. This is really perfect. Love having you in the conversation. John Vilanova, welcome.
Hi, good morning, Dominique. How are you? Thank you so much for having me.
Good, yeah. Thank you for joining us. Your, gut check, top line reaction to the 2026 Grammy Awards.
Oh my gosh, it's a really interesting time to be reflecting on all of this. I think that what is worth doing is situating this, I think, within a larger conversation about what the Grammys are, what they do, and where they're at right now. So I think a good way of thinking about this is that what they represent are different snapshots of what powerful people in the music business believe is the best that the business has to offer at any given minute, right? Like, it's not what is the best album. It is not what is the album that has the most sales. It is what is the album of the year. And so I think that of the year name means a lot, because what this is, it's a project about history. It's a project about the development of sort of artistic canon, right? This will be the first line in the obituaries of these people when they transition. That is, how many Grammy Awards they won. And so to be reflecting on a moment in which the general field, and we can talk about what that is, when the general field is made up of so many artists of color who are, I think, presenting music that is not overly geared towards a more retrograde understanding of what popular music is, there's a lot to celebrate. There's a lot to be excited about. And so, I think the takeaway is we should be excited.
Yeah, I mean, the way you're describing it is almost like a time capsule. And it's interesting because you're right, of the year or best record, it doesn't really tell you the criteria. Best according to what? According to the opinion of whoever has a vote.
Certainly. Well, so if you go back, a little bit of background about me and my scholarship. I wrote my PhD dissertation about the Grammy Awards. In their third year, they developed a credo. So, they launched in 1959, and in the very early years of the Grammy Awards, what they say is that they will assess music. The only quality that they will be looking for is excellence, which is a very fascinating word. We see it come up in conversations around American education and also in art it means both everything and nothing at the same time, and it is deeply individualized, right? My idea of what artistic excellence might be really distinct from what somebody else's idea about what artistic excellence is. And so when they have this vague concept, what it means is that they can write it into whatever they want it to be.
Right. I mean, I read that you look at the idea of artistic excellence as a proxy for conversations about race and gender. I mean, we look a lot at race, but gender is also very much of an issue in terms of the Grammy Awards and the industry as a whole.
Yes, of course. I mean, having an intersectional perspective where we think about how race and gender are interacting with each other is profoundly important. And I think that the history of American popular music, it's really, important to situate that within larger conversations about when we think of the word artist, what have these sorts of, centuries of conditioning prepared us to conceive of an artist as. And with popular music in particular, a philosopher of rock and roll, a philosopher of popular music, and somebody whose work will live on, the stories that have been primarily prized by the Grammys for a really long time, and just the ways that we form conversations around music, importance, and significance, it is the idea that men oftentimes are the ones who can be the storytellers, and white men in particular. So I'll just tell you, I asked a generative AI, ChatGPT, I asked it, who's the greatest artist ever? And it said Bob. I said, who's the greatest popular musician ever? And it said Bob Dylan was. And it gave reasons for that, and we can take all of the reasons that it gave and situate them within these larger conversations around a single story of American popular music and the ways the Grammys contribute to that.
That's wild. So the in memoriam is always very controversial, and gets a tribute and who doesn't. I noticed in the press, Grateful Dead fans were complaining that they didn't give Bob Weir enough love. I was happy to see Lauryn Hill performing and paying tribute to D'Angelo. That was lovely. I felt like Sly Stone got the short shift, considering a lot of those artists wouldn't even be able to do what they were doing if it wasn't for Sly. So what do you make of that? How do you process this idea? It's back to what's excellent and what's important, right? Of who we memorialize and who we tribute and who we do not.
Yeah, I mean, I think that is, really telling because, you have this section where all these people's names are flashing across the screens, and how they are the ones who wind up there, and who are the ones who get a pullout, and who are the ones who get one song in the tribute or two songs in the tribute. I think it's worth kind of acknowledging that this is a product of a lot of different negotiations behind the scenes. When you get an artist as important and significant as Lauryn Hill, and she's willing to pay tribute to D'Angelo and to Roberta Flack as well, I think it's important to talk about her departure as well. I mean, I wasn't in these rooms. I don't know what was happening. How do you pay tribute to Sly and the Family Stone? I'm sure that there could have been, and there should have been something larger done. It becomes this question of, the ceremony is already over long, and I think that people will feel disappointed because what they wind up experiencing, and I think this is why we continue to have conversations about what the award show has the potential to do, is people don't like it when they feel left out. And Sly fans, the ones who know his importance and significance in the history of American popular music, part of it is that they don't feel included in the vision and the story that the award ceremony is telling. The other half of it is, if you have ears, you know about the importance of Sly and the Family Stone. So it's not only that we don't like not being recognized. I think it's also what we observe is an incomplete history, an incomplete story of American popular music that omission really triggered for people.
Yeah, it's interesting too that I'm sitting here going, well, Miles, who's also was joining in the conversation earlier too, we're talking about how they add more and more categories. It feels like, for me, it feels like race records. We're going to make sure that we're going to keep changing the rules so we can keep winning. Whether it's country music or rap music or whatever it is, but at the same time, Donald Trump says it's unwatchable, and he's very angry. So does that mean that the Grammys is moving to be a little bit more inclusive, or does it just mean that hip hop, R&B, and rock and roll have always been unwatchable for President Trump? I mean, their alternate Super Bowl music, I think, is Kid Rock. LOL.
Right. Yeah, totally. I think so. The history of the awards are really fascinating in this way. In the beginnings of the awards, one of the things that they did actually was they started dividing categories along racialized lines. So gospel and blues in particular, I think they called it soul gospel versus traditional gospel. And soul gospel was black gospel and traditional gospel was white gospel. What wound up happening over time was the awards, they are a consumer entertainment product. Millions of people watch it. They want those numbers to be as high as possible. They want to be able to sell advertising. How do you do that? One of the ways that you do that is by getting a broad segment of musicians there at the ceremony, accepting awards and or performing, right? And so what winds up happening in the 1980s in particular is they start adding categories. Where I think it's really important to be instructive about this is that Beyonce is the person who has won the most Grammy Awards. But you have to look at her winning percentage when her music is in competition with white artists and when her music is in competition with other black artists. Because over time, over the years, what we found was that most of the time when she won, it was in these categories that were existed so that they could have black artists receiving awards on television, convincing them to come to the ceremonies so that they might perform at the awards. But when held in competition with white artists, she was often significant throughout most of her career that found to be lesser than. That it should have been good enough for artists of color to be included in this conversation, nominated, but not at the highest level of what art is.
And thus Jay-Z's complaint at the Grammys last year. Yeah. I mean, and so how does that track out in terms of progress? Are we doing better?
Yeah, I mean, I think pairing last year and this year is really influential, important, and fascinating because, Beyonce performs at the CMAs and is rejected. Lemonade is held up in competition with an Adele album in 2017, falls short, and Beyonce does a really fascinating thing, which is make Cowboy Carter an album that's the audience for Cowboy Carter. In addition to Beyonce fans and popular music fans, it seems that the audience for that album is Grammy voters saying, here, I am going to make something and explain to you its legitimacy, and that is the art that wins. Take that and set that in conversation with this year, where this is the first album to win Album of the Year that is primarily not in English, right? So to have Bad Bunny's victory, I think, is really striking, especially when in conversation with and contrasted against what happened last year. A deeply sort of explanatory album against one that is, I think a really fascinating artistic statement that is not trying to explain itself to the Grammys. And so I think that progress is happening. Progress is happening for a variety of reasons. And I think, it's worth at least noting the fact that the Recording Academy, who, that's the institution that organizes this, they understood that they had a problem. Their voters were too old. Their voters were too white. And so what they've worked really hard to do is to diversify the voting roles, right? It wasn't just like, let's hand more awards to artists of color, but let's create a voting body in the Academy that features a more representationally diverse picture of who might judge excellence in American music. And when we have that, what we're seeing is artists of color's music being more thoroughly considered, respected, and assessed. So yes, I think progress is happening, and it's really exciting.
Yeah, we're talking about the
We can all
Grammy.
use a little good news.
We can always use a lot of good news right now. We're talking Grammys. Miles Lowe is with me. John Vilanova is with me, and you're welcome in. It's KBLA Talk 1580.
More of First Things First with Dominique DePrima when we come forward.
February 4th is Transit Equity Day. To mark the occasion, Metro is offering free rides all day on the 4th. Providing safe, accessible, and affordable transportation is a commitment Metro makes year-round. Learn more at thesource.metro.net.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. LA County's new Justice Care and Opportunities Department, or JCOD, is here to support justice-involved individuals and their families. The JCOD Support Center is now taking calls at 1-833-LACJCOD. That's 1-833-522-5263. Available 7 days a week from 6 a.m. to 11 p.m., the Support Center is your one-stop shop for re-entry issues and court support. They offer court reminders, connections to local services, transportation assistance for housing, court appearances, and childcare. The JCOD hotline provides personalized help to connect you with services that you need. And don't forget to check out justiceconnect.org for more information. Remember, it's free and available every day at 1-833-522-5263. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Lena Bloom for the Bail Project. Imagine you're stuck in a jail cell and you can't afford bail and someone offers you a way out. Just plead guilty and you can go home and kiss your kids goodnight. What do? What thousands have. You plead guilty whether you are or not. Cash bail makes poverty a crime. That's why the Bail Project helps those who can't afford it while fighting to end cash bail. Because freedom should be free.
Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Every morning, we rise and shine, make breakfast, and brush away the night's rest. These routines help us start the day off right. Nature-Made vitamins are a simple step in that daily care regimen. Multivitamins with daily essentials, clinically studied probiotics for gut health support, magnesium to help relax the body. Nature-Made is made to care for you every day. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Pizza's here.
Oh, great. I'd love some, but I'm worried about my stomach issues.
If you're worried about having diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose, oily stools, it may not just be stomach issues. It could be a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and talk to your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
The conversation continues right now with Dominique DePrima on First Things First.
It does, and we've been talking with Miles Lowe, also John Vilanova, assistant professor, who also, you said you wrote your whole dissertation on the Grammys, which is really fascinating. What made you want to do that? What drew you to that convo?
I think that in communication studies, we call things media events, right? Which is like when people come together around some major happening. And for me, I think looking at these events, these sorts of signposts, this is Super Bowl week, and there's a lot of furor around that. But I also think about when Whitney Houston performed at the Super Bowl and what that meant about what story of America was being told in that moment, right? And so I think the Grammys represent a moment when conversations around artistic legacies are had, they're negotiated, and they are sort of taught to the American public. And every year, I think we are watching the story of American music, another chapter be added to it. So it felt important. And I think as well, for me, where it started to become a really rich text was when you looked at the history and started to see some of the patterns that I've identified about the ways artists of color, and Black artists in particular, were not suitably being taken seriously, especially when we think about the fact that we don't have American popular culture and American popular music without the contributions of Black people.
Do you think that, it's funny because you said there's all these behind the scenes negotiations, right? There's record labels and managers and agents with clout and all of these factors that play into it. It's not just what we see. I was talking about that with the Academy Awards. Like, I feel that one of the reasons Sinners got all these nominations, and congrats to them, they got 2 Grammys, is because the audience. And, it's not just that the voters are old and white, it's also that the audience is old and white, and so their numbers are diminishing. So I think to some extent the nomination, whether it's the Grammys or the Oscars, are now starting to be influenced by their desire to have more viewers.
Yeah, no, I think that is certainly the case. I mean, with the Grammys, the fact when you look at what awards are televised and what are not, I mean, I think the growing power and influence of country music and what that means to a large segment of the population who want to feel seen in a moment in world history in which we know hip hop is the most, the genre of music that has the most sales across the world. I think that CBS, who show this and who, their viewership skews the oldest and the whitest of all the major networks. They want to figure out ways to make concessions. And I think I'm not sitting here saying that, country music's legitimacy is such that it is only a concession, but that award wasn't televised when I started, following the Grammys as heavily as I do in the mid-aughts. Right. It's a product of what's happening in the industry. And it's also a product of trying to create, consumable telecast that will appeal really broadly.
Yeah. We always have a debate on this show and in our community whether or not Black artists need the validation of an Oscar or a Grammy. And people are telling me, no, we don't. We have the NAACP awards. We used to have the Soul Train Awards, whatever. I think that they come with money, they come with clout, they come with opportunity. So it's not just validation. What's your take on the impact of the Grammys on people's, opportunity, their ability to earn, their viability as a product or brand?
Yeah, that's a really, really good question and totally worth thinking about. I think American culture is consolidating around large platforms. We're watching this with, CBS and the ways that, they've purchased, Paramount and what it's meaning for these ongoing negotiations around Netflix. What we're watching is power consolidating in real time. And unfortunately, I think that what that winds up doing is reducing the ability to build sustainable, profitable institutions that are of the people rather than these sorts of top-down things. So to your point, I don't think that anybody can or should want or need a Grammy Award to feel validated. I think it's really important that artists find validation in and through the work that they do. And I think that, of course, they are quite valuable and quite lucrative, but I think that is, to your point, and I think the point that you're making, not the best thing. I think that they have perhaps too much power and too much influence given what is happening with media, music, and culture in the contemporary moment. I hope that suitably answered the question.
That's such a great point. The more power we give them, the more we kind of bolster that consolidation. So, John Vilanova, tell us how to read your work, follow your thoughts, and all of that.
Yeah, certainly. So, as said, I'm an assistant professor at Lehigh University in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. I have a personal website, johnvillanova.com. Villanova has one L for everybody on the East Coast. There's a university that has two L's. I'm publishing a lot in the scholarly realm right now, trying to explore pieces. The most recent thing that I've written is looking at the coverage of the Astroworld Festival tragedy and the way that journalists sort of criminalized the crowd there. Pop up now and again in popular media. But I guess the best way to really get in touch really is either through my website or through, my email and things like that.
Well, thank you so much for joining this morning, and hopefully you'll pop up in our popular media a little more frequently. It was great talking with you.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. I hope you all have a good rest of your morning.
Absolutely. And Miles Lowe, tell them where to find you.
Everything at Miles Lowe Music on all platforms, at the Do Better Network on all platforms, and I'm in the street, so you can actually come tap me on my shoulder if you see me outside. We can have this conversation in real time.
And he really will. Yeah, Tavis Smiley's up next. He's got a great show as usual. It's amazing the folks they get on the mic every day. I love that, and you're going to love it too if you haven't. Definitely keep it locked for that. Talk to me on socials. I'm at Deprima Radio, DIPRIMA, everywhere, and then radio everywhere. Deprima Radio. Instagram is my favorite, but I'm on TikTok, Fanbase, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, even Twitter. So talk to me there. Like my dad, the late and great Amiri Baraka, used to say, a man is either free or he is not free. There can be no apprenticeship for freedom. Until tomorrow, be well, stay free. One love.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Tammy Eswick with BIN News Now.